Boker Tov. This coming Shabbat is Rosh Chodesh Nisan, and there is a unique beracha which the Chachamim institute for us to say once a year. And this is on the site of two fruit-bearing blossom trees. Now this is quite rare that the Chachamim institute a beracha for the change of season, and there is something about new blossoms, about spring in the air, about hope and renewal. The Chachamim said the Hayotze Bimei Nisan, one who goes out during the month of Nisan and sees blossom trees, one recites the beracha that appreciating HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that He's given us trees for our benefit and our enjoyment. And when we see these trees, we look at them, they give us hope, and we enjoy them. And therefore the Chachamim instituted this beracha for us to recite once a year during the month of Nisan. Now this beracha is only said when it's still a blossom. Once the blossoms have fallen and the fruit is beginning to grow, then the beracha can no longer be said. The whole idea is the idea of the beginning, of the renewal, of the blossoming, and therefore the beracha has to be said whilst the fruits are still in a blossom. Now the discussion is whether this blessing has to be recited specifically in the month of Nisan. So the vast majority of the Rishonim write that this is not unique to the month of Nisan. It can be the month of Adar if the blossoms come early, or if the blossoms comes very late in the month of Iyar. And the proof why this makes the most sense is that there are places in the world where trees do not blossom in the month of March, April, Nisan. In the southern hemisphere, it's going to be the opposite way around. It's going to be in September, October time. So it cannot be literally Nisan is only the month of Nisan, which is why the vast majority of the poskim are of the opinion that the norm is to do it in the month of Nisan because that's when the blossoms come out. But if the blossoms come out in the month of Adar, and one is concerned that by the time you get to the month of Nisan, you won't have blossoms anymore, there'll already be fruit growing, or vice versa, the month of Nisan passed, there was a harsh winter, and there were no blossoms till the month of Iyar, Chacham Ovadia is posek that one can still do Birkat Ilanot, can still do the blessing for the trees. The Mekubalim are of the opinion, the Kabbalists, the Ben Ish Hai, the Hida, that it has to be done specifically in the month of Nisan, but nonetheless, as we've said, the halakha according to the Peshat is that these blessings may be made not specifically in the month of Nisan, but even before and after, and in the southern hemisphere will be in September, October time. Are women commanded, obligated to do this mitzvah? So according to what we've just explained, that it's not specifically in the month of Nisan, it can be done the month before or after, then women should be obligated. Because this is a mitzvat aseh shelo hazman gerama. It's a positive instruction to do something which is not time-bound. There's no time frame to it. It doesn't have to be done specifically during the month of Nisan. It's commonly done during the month of Nisan, but it doesn't have to be done during that month. And therefore, women have the same obligation to do Birkat Ilanot. And you're walking past a tree, any fruit tree, doesn't have to belong to you, it can belong to someone else. You're in the park and you see these trees, one recites the beracha for Birkat Ilanot. One can even say the beracha at night time. If the blossoms are visible, it doesn't have to be done during the day. It can be done nighttime or daytime, this mitzvah. Some are particular to go outside the city in order to do Birkat Ilanot, because the Gemara says Hayotze, one who goes out. But this is not specific. One can do Birkat Ilanot in one's back garden, or for that matter, anywhere where he sees trees which are blossoming, one can do Birkat Ilanot, but you will find people who will be particular to go outside of the city based on a very specific reading of the text, which says Hayotze, one who goes out, which they interpret women has to go outside the city. Finally, Birkat Ilanot should be said on a tree which has been created with the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. A grafted tree, since it's forbidden to graft trees, although the produce of grafted trees is permissible, we do eat grafted fruit, and that's halachically permissible. But nonetheless, to say beracha on the sight of blossoms of growing of a tree which was created against the Ratzon of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, against God's will, some are unhappy with that and therefore advise not to say Birkat Ilanot on that. So in conclusion, there is a beautiful beracha which we can begin to recite from next week, and that's the beracha of the new blossoms. Spring is in the air. It doesn't have to be done in the month of Nisan. We do try to do it in the month of Nisan, but it can be done in the month after if, for whatever reason, the blossoms weren't available in the month of Nisan or in the southern hemisphere. Women are equally obligated in this mitzvah, and one can do it in the night and one can do it in one's back garden. But one should refrain from doing Birkat Ilanot on a grafted tree. Have a wonderful day.